you?
Hello, I'm doing so well. How are you doing today?
It's nice to see you again. I know it's been a while.
It has been, yes.
Yes, but you're Jimmy's third grade teacher, correct?
Mm-hmm,
Yes.
I am indeed.
That's awesome. And my name is Carly Hind. I am part of a team that is currently working on treating Jimmy's auditory processing disorder, which, as you know, he was diagnosed with recently.
Yep.
And so I sent you a questionnaire and an email the other day. Thank you so much for responding right away. That definitely helps our team develop a good plan for Jimmy.
You're welcome.
And so with auditory processing disorder, there's often multiple professionals involved. And so, of course, we want to keep you involved. Myself, as the speech-language pathologist, will be involved, along with his audiologist, Dr. Jones. And so I've talked with Jimmy's mom, and we've worked out a plan to work with the audiologist. But as far as the classroom management, I will be pulling Jimmy out of class for about an hour a week. And so as I was looking through your questionnaire, I was able to identify some goals that we have for Jimmy long term to really hope to see him improve on some of those things over a year-long time span. And so one of the main goals that is critical for his classroom success is for him to be able to remember and follow directions correctly, which I understand he's having a little bit of difficulty with.
He is, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that is something that auditory processing disorder affects. And so one of my goals in treatment will definitely be to have him remember and follow directions correctly, which is awesome. And then I also understand that you have a music time in your classroom.
We do,
That's awesome. That's really cool. Music is so great for kids to learn. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yes, and so unfortunately I see that Jimmy really has trouble participating in that appropriately, which it's a lesser known fact, but auditory processing disorder does affect how kids interact with music and how they hear pitches differently, and really have trouble engaging in that in an appropriate way. And so that's another goal I have for Jimmy, to see him engage with the other kids, even if he may not enjoy it at first, just for him to be able to sit through that and pay attention and not do things like you mentioned, like cover his ears or maybe be tempted to run away from the situation, because it's definitely critical for him to be involved in that, as I'm sure you're aware of. So that is a goal we'll be working on with him. And another thing in the classroom, and really any environment, there's a lot of background noise going on. So that can include things like fans or other kids talking or people opening up their desk. And so with auditory processing disorder, a lot of children have trouble focusing when there's a lot of background noise. And so Jimmy actually does really well when there's no background noise. When I've seen him in therapy, he's great. If I turn off the fan and just talk with him one-on-one, but in a classroom, it's a different environment. And so I would like to see him improve with focusing on what you're saying as the teacher when there's other things going on that you can't necessarily control.
Absolutely.
So those are the 3 goals I would like to see Jimmy improve on, which would be awesome, right? So, yeah. And so the testing battery that Dr. Jones and I have come up with really directly target those goals. And so in my time with him, I'll be working on some memory testing and some reading goals that will help him remember directions better. And so we'll be, increasing the difficulty as it goes, but I'll really be working on him with following directions. So we'll start with like 1-step directions, and then 2-step, and then all the way up to 3-step, where it would be something like, okay, Jimmy, go to your desk, get your pencil, push your chair in, and put your backpack away. So he's able to remember those 3 things and follow through with them. So I'll be working on his memory. And some other tests that the audiologist will go through will really help him make sense of the auditory information that he's receiving. So he'll receive different sounds in his ears and have to speak them both out correctly. He'll have to identify when he's hearing a sound and then when the sound stops. And so that's actually another critical skill for him to learn when following directions, because with speech, there's a word and then we have spaces between our words. So if he's able to better understand when that sound stops, that'll also improve his direction skills. So yeah, I think we've developed a good testing battery. Like I said, it will take time. And I would love to follow up through email. Will be my primary contact with you. And of course we can have another meeting like this as time goes on. And I would expect by the end of the school year that Jimmy should see some great improvements in this, especially with the intensity of the training and the support from you as the teacher and his family. I think he really will improve in these things in that time frame. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me today about Jimmy or anything?
So I guess my only question would be, are there any techniques that you would like me to implement in the classroom as his teacher other than the normal exercises that I do with the children? Or since you're going to be coming in with him on a weekly basis, will you be covering those bases?
Yes, that's a really good point. I'll definitely be working with his target skills in therapy, but as far as in classroom, you can definitely do different things. So like I mentioned with the directions, if you give like a multi-step direction to the class, maybe going over to Jimmy and saying, hey, Jimmy, can you repeat the directions that I just gave to the class? And that might be hard for him at first, so you may have to break it down into just one-step directions for him. And then as far as background noise, we do want him to improve on that, but if there's anything that you notice in the classroom, like a window open or a fan, or maybe even moving him to a different place in the classroom where there's less noise, that should help him as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
awesome. Have a great day.
You as well.
Thank you.